Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zach. Today I'm going to be talking about NAK. It's been a while since I've done that. I'm going to go through technical analysis and then latest news and how we're trading the stock and the future of the stock all in all. You can find my previous DD in the description below if you'd like to watch that after this video. Make sure to drop a like to this video and subscribe to the channel and leave your notifications on for this channel to get the latest out of videos. Let's jump right into it, and you get to see here on the MACD that we're seeing a bit of a reversal here that is happening. It's a little bit of a choppy one. It might take perhaps next week or the week after in order to see that reversal, but you see it creeping up towards a positive MACD on the histogram. ADX shows in a little bit more sloppy movements. On the million percent R here, what we're seeing is a bit more neutral action, dipping. Well, it's just been staying a bit more neutral, going a little bit to overbought and dipping a little bit to oversold, just back and forth for a while now. In terms of momentum here, it's been a little bit choppy. It has gained a lot of momentum that it has lost all the way back on the 7th. It's sitting in an alright momentum, but it looks like it's receiving a little bit of a pullback on Friday, but that is usual on the last trading day before the weekend. Now, in terms of moving averages, the 30 EMA is slightly above the 10 SMA, although that can change easily. So that is considered still bearish, but very much we need to look into the 1 hour perspective, as doesn't tell us much. The stock price is just below the 50 SMA, which considers the bearish point, but it's still above the 200 SMA, so that kind of cancels each other out. Now, going on towards the 1 hour perspective, what we get to see here is an ADX that does also support a sloppy movement, a willing percent R that was sitting at oversold and dipped a little bit towards the overbought situation here. MACD that is seeing a bit of a confirmed reversal around 5 p.m. on Friday that has gone towards a bit to positive, and you get to see a momentum here that has been building back up. Now, in terms of the stock price itself, you don't get to see much action in the last 2 trading days. Moving averages look a little bit mixed here, but there is a high chance of a reversal in this situation here. Now, going on towards moving average band, and you get to see this one here in CN purple. It's expected to be trading below at 156 to 172 as a price point action, but it has been losing a little bit more interest as we go forward. Volume has decreased, but still significant, around 6.7 million. Now we need to look a little bit into different supports and resistances. So we're going to go quickly here at Fibonacci Retracements and go on to the 1 hour perspective in order to determine what the current supports and resistances are. So the Fibonacci support is sitting in 143. The current support is sitting in 148, or actually to be 149, 148, and it goes 1 cent down to that 142. So that's in an accumulation period, and that is expected here to see a lot of supports and resistances. Now, similarly, you get to see a resistance at 151, going 152, 153, and it goes 1 cent up until you hit 164. After 164, it does jump quite a bit to 167, and then above that, you're seeing 174, 179, and then 185, and you do see there's a lot of movements that is potential movements upwards. Now, moving on towards earnings and whatnot. So I haven't seen earnings other than the 28th of August for Q2. It's still not confirmed through a letter, so we still get to see that, but that's still in the future. Now, moving on towards Fibonacci arc, let's try to attempt if this actually does work. And you don't get to see anything significant other than perhaps this reversal point that I did actually walk through. Nothing significant here at all. Now, moving on towards latest news, you get to see a lot of institutional interest in the last 2 days. So you get to see on Thursday, there has been quite a bit amount of shares that has been added for this company. A bit more different actions as well on the 14th. There has been 3 companies that have, that have decreased their position, so, or removed their position. Cetera got this one here 100% down. Tower have half their position, and MBE Wealth has decreased their position. Welton, so it's a bit more mixed, but I see more addition to rather than removal of these trades. Now, this company here, what they have done was they put a call, a put, and bought shares. Just basically trying to make sure that they get more gains than anything on the stock, and whatever volatile action it moves forward, it would benefit out of. Still, there's interest on there. So now, latest going on towards news, there's a little bit of tension for this company, and it basically is relying a little bit more about politics. And we all know how politicians love to play nice. And that was a sarcasm joke. But there is a little bit of environmental aspect to it. So they're still waiting for, my understanding, is a final EIS. Some of the things from the letter that they've sent to the IG of the U.S. Army Corps. The Pebble EIS fully meets an EPA standards for scientific review of major development projects in the United States. The duration of the USACE's NEPA review of the Pebble falls within a typical range of the EIS process undertaken. The permit application submitted to the USACE in December 2017 to initiate the federal NEPA review of Pebble project was acceptable in January 2018 because it met all statutory requirements. And so nothing significant there other than basically trying to get the ROD and the final EIS. Although from my understanding, so it just needs the final record of decision from the U.S. government. Now there is talk about the final EIS, and that was earlier this week. Final EIS and record of decision will determine the federal action of the Alaska Project Mile. Is it under kind of risk of it not being done? Well, there is a risk, but I think that risk is very small considering in the recent government's action, at least the one in the office right now, that is a bit more about mining and opening it more towards different mines and stuff. So that's not a big problem for them, at least in my overview. There is a high potential that you do get the EIS and ROD. This is the same thing basically. Pebble Partnership welcomes White House review of Southwest Alaska Pebble Mine, and basically they said we are aware of the comments President Trump made earlier this week that he will listen to both sides of the issue concerning our projects. Quite frankly, I wouldn't expect anything less when it comes to a project Pebble's import to our state or country. And yeah, so that news is Preston actually did mention it before in my last video. So what is the current situation for this one, and what is my expectation for the stock? Let's go back towards the charts. I do expect that it does bottom out to 140, as I did mention below before. That has been a really good support, 140. It did prove that it actually did hit there. If it does go on to 140, I'm considering it a buy for myself. Now there is a risk to it where the White House government or basically says that no, we're not giving the ROD, but I really doubt it. From what I've seen from this government, I think they are more pro-mining rather than pro-environmental. That's just a speculation coming in from here for myself, and so the risk really is less than the reward for me in this case, and I would consider buying it at 150. Sorry, 140. What do you think about this sticker? Make sure you mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like it. You have a wonderful day.